We met Lane Perkins. He left his wife and 2-year-old son back in San Diego to join the.
Was that a good thing? What are you're going to volunteer for another country and you're leaving your wife and kids behind? To volunteer for another country?
Secret location where they are
One of the bloodiest wars in Europe since World War II is drawing thousands of foreigners to join the fight.
Thousands of people, not from Ukraine, traveling to Ukraine to fight.
Kavi, he goes by his military call sign, tells us he is a Canadian and veteran of the war in Afghanistan.
When Putin rattled the nuclear saber, he threatened the whole world with fire. Canada's right in between the U.S. and Russia. It's where all these missiles that he's threatening with are going to be flying over. So that's what brings me here.
I don't know, man. That's a pretty big existential crisis for you to be motivated to tribute yourself as cannon fodder for a country that you have nothing to do with whatsoever, other than the fact that Putin rattled the nuclear rattle to get people. I don't know, man. I don't know. I've just been seeing a large influx of people talking about volunteering to fight in Ukraine. It just doesn't make any sense to me because it's a war. It's a war. And now certainly there's going to be these types of people. Throughout history, there's always been these types of people who need some excitement. And, you know, war seems exciting. I mean, I'm sure it gets a lot of ratings on television, but it's just very strange to me how we're getting an influx of volunteerism, and it's being encouraged through the media, through the American media. I have a few other I guess they're commercials for volunteering. I'll call them, well, they're news articles, but they're commercials for volunteering. One of them from India. I mean, there's people from all over the world are trying to motivate people to go to Ukraine and fight, to become cannon fodder, because it doesn't seem like there's a real military there anymore. Russia's been in there for almost 3 weeks now, so it doesn't seem like it's a good situation for the people who are showing up as volunteers.
He is far from alone.
There is more than 20,000 of this military serving all over.
20,000 people have went over there and volunteered so far. 20,000 people.
Ryan, a 25-year-old from Minnesota, says he served 2 years with the Marines in Okinawa, Japan.
I'm a U.S. Marine. If I have to die to help these people, I will.
I mean, how do you say that just nonchalantly? If I have to die for these people, I will. Why? You're a U.S. Marine. Okay.
From Sweden has no formal military training.
We're here to help people. Hopefully it's going to be over even before we reach the front, before we even need to fire a bullet or save someone with medical resources, you know? That's the best for everyone, but if that's what it comes to, we'll be there.
It doesn't seem like it's going to be getting much better. And the volunteering, man, it just doesn't seem like it's very I just don't get putting yourself in a position like that. If they're not coming onto your land, if they're not, you're actively looking to get killed, basically. It's like police assisted suicide, but it's a Ukraine volunteer assisted suicide.
David, 33, from Canada, says he can help fix tires to keep Ukrainian military vehicles on the road.
If it's black and round and made out of rubber, I can fix it. And one of the most important things of the gears of war is keeping it moving.
All volunteers get at least some training.
Gears of war is keeping it moving. I just don't see, I mean, you know, unless they pull off an insurgency and try to have their guerrilla fighters fighting in the streets for years to come, I don't know how this Ukrainian thing is going to get any better for the Ukrainians. What motivates you to go out there and fight? So we had a U.S. Marine who said, "Oh, I'm a Marine. I'll die for these people." You had the guy from Sweden who was like, "Hey, hopefully everything will chill out by the time we get to going." What else we got?
Urgent need for the Ukrainian
We
military.
had the other guy who's like, hey, we got to keep these gears of war going. I can fix a tire. I can fix any tire. He's motivated. He wants to go and fix your tires.
Are volunteers with combat medical experience. That's what brought Sky Barkley, a U.S. Marine and missionary, to Ukraine, along with 6 other Americans.
You enrolled after 9/11, imagining, I suppose, the war was going to be there. Did you ever imagine yourself witnessing a war in Ukraine, in Europe?
Probably not.
Oh, and it's totally different. This does not compare to a slow simmering insurgency. It doesn't even compare to.
Well, yeah, because you're fighting an actual army now. Like, it's an actual army. It's an actual military instead of an insurgency. Instead of all these people trying to come together to defend their own land, you know.
What we saw with
that
ISIS,
stuff.
because you're talking about the sheer amount of missiles being, launched across the country, the ability of the Russians to reach out across hundreds and hundreds of kilometers and kill from that kind of distance.
Maddie, another member of Sky's medical team, is a travel nurse from Missouri, here to help and willing to put her life on the line to do it, as she's done before in Iraq.
Yeah, it worries me a little bit, but I just have a heart for these people. Like, I just really want to help them. I don't see my life more valuable than their life.
Ukrainian officials.
So what does that mean? I don't see my life more valuable than their life. What does that even mean? I don't see my life more valuable than anybody else's life either. I mean, that's your motivation to go to fight and put your life on the line? I don't know. But it's weird, though, because... So this is the American version, and this was a CNN news article. But then I seen the Indian version news article talking about how they have volunteers. A 21-year-old student wanted to join the Indian Army, but he moved over to the Ukraine whenever in 2014, I think it was, and now he has an opportunity to join the army, but he's joining the Ukrainian army.
India Today happened to speak to Ravichandran while he was on guard duty in Kharkiv.
3 days ago, you joined the Legion to fight for Ukraine.
Yes, I am.
What kind of training are you undergoing, Sai?
Basic tactical stuff, survival and basic medic things.
As an Indian, what made you fight here in Ukraine?
I wanted to be in the army for a long time. Then situation.
So he wanted to be a military guy. That's what I think that, like, a lot of these people who are volunteering, I think that most of them are military guys. Most of them are military guys. Most of them are probably veterans. Well, not like this guy wants to be in the military. He wants to, like, he's drawn to it. So that's his motivation. But a lot of the veterans, especially the American veterans, they probably just like the lifestyle, and they're like, I have to have my routine. Which, who knows what you get used to whenever you're in war zones for too long, and who knows how many veterans we have from those types of war zones who are willing to go over to the Ukraine and volunteer. But there's a lot of people who are motivated who would probably just go over looking for a fight anyway.
I came here, gone to university. Now I have many friends here. Further, I have many friends, local friends, families, and yeah, that's why.
Ravichandran has undergone some combat training at the Georgia National Legion camp.
So the Georgia National...
Ukraine claims thousands of foreign nationals have answered a call to join.
They've had a lot of foreign nationals have answered the call to join. Now, with all that being said, it's very easy to be motivated and get excited and to think that, oh yeah, yay, wow, it's so awesome, it looks so great, I want to be a war hero, I want to do all these great things, I want to go over there and we're going to gung-ho and we're going to show the Russians exactly what it is. But a lot of people still have like the movie type mindset where things don't necessarily work out that way. It's not that easy. Nothing's ever that easy. And can one person make that big of a difference in a war like this? Maybe not one person. Things have changed so much. I mean, maybe if they're a good motivator and they can rah the troops up. But other than that, I mean, what's one person capable of doing against a massive army like the Russians anyway. But with all that being said, we do see the Ukrainians having issues, and they're having all kinds of volunteers coming in, and that's always been a thing as well. When you're running low of people, you would pay for mercenaries to come in and help defend your land. But instead, now you just have volunteers because we have the internet, and we can advertise to people and say, hey guys, you want to come over here? I'll give you an AK-47, put your ass in the street, and you can go fight. Go fight. With all of that being said, you see all the volunteers, you see all of the volunteerism. It's being encouraged by the international media. The international media is encouraging people to go to Ukraine and fight. Now, allegedly, this is an American volunteer who explains a little bit of what his experience has been volunteering for the Ukrainian troops.
All right. We were part of the Georgia National Legion, the 102nd Ukrainian Territory.
Georgia National Legion. We just saw the Georgia National Legion on the where the Tamil Nadu student, the Indian kid who is over there fighting for the Ukrainians.
Territorial defense. Okay. Our base got fucked up. The base right next to us got fucked up. Americans, British, tons of British dead. All right. They're not saying nothing. They're counting our dead as their dead.
They're counting our dead as their dead. Well, if this is true, I would assume that they would be counting their dead as their dead, so that you can have, you're just going to be upping that Ukrainian count as much as you can. But and if it's an American that dies over there, technically, it's an American that died, and we should be sad about it. But we can't really be mad about it because it's a volunteer. You took yourself over there. So if we're keeping count of the Americans who are dying, well, technically they're not dying for the American side. They're dying for the Ukrainian side. The American side's not in the war. Technically, we're not in the war. We're giving bomb. Yeah, you know the deal. You know the deal. There's technicalities. Technicalities. Okay? Proxy wars and shit.
They're trying to send us to Kiev with no fucking weapons, no kit, no fucking plates. The people who are lucky enough to get weapons are only getting magazines with like 10 fucking rounds. Okay?
Is this cannon fodder? Are they just throwing you out there to get shot?
Okay? When they wanted to send us to Kiev, we said no. Our whole group, a bunch of Americans, Canadians, British. So they told us we had to get the fuck out, or they were going to shoot us in the back. All right? So me, this British...
So if you're not going to go to the front lines, we will shoot you and get you out of there, because it is a war. And it's hard to get resources in and out of here, let alone people in and out of here. So get your ass out. I would probably say this. I probably wouldn't say I want to shoot you, but it is a war. It's not like they'll shoot your ass and then, hey, you volunteered for war, so bye. Oh, the Ukrainians shot him. Oops. Friendly fire, bud.
Guy and another American, we fucking hid in the back of an ambulance to get out. We got to the border, and it was a whole nother mess. When you get to the border, anyone who has kit, anyone who has any military shit, they're fucking pulling you out of the line and they're sending you back to the front. We got dropped off about 5 clicks from the fucking, from the border, and we walked.
So they're having a hard time even getting out. They're having a hard time even getting out. You volunteer, you get in. You better be careful, because you probably ain't going to get out, man. You probably ain't going to get out.
And we get to the border, in this humanitarian group with a bunch of ex-SF veterans from England pull us to the side and say, you need to get, pulled us out and fucking, hit us. And they were like, you need to dump all your kit. And they're pulling people out, cutting up passports, sending them back. So we dumped our shit. We got, in all of our fucking, we got in Red Cross vests, and they had fucking humanitarian passes to get us through the Ukrainian border. People need to stop coming here. It's a trap, and they're not letting you fucking leave.
That doesn't sound very good. I don't know if it's necessarily a trap, but it does seem like in the middle of a war, things can get discombobulated, disorganized. People get stressed out. Lots of craziness going on. They probably got lost in the shuffle, mixed in the shuffle, because first of all, they're foreigners, don't speak the language, just volunteered so that we can try to help you out and fight. But now we're deciding, we don't really want to fight now. This is all fucked up. yeah, it's a war zone. You go over and then you realize, oh shit, this fucking sucks. Seems like it sucks.
The best way to leave is like in a Vic or a car or something. People who get out by vehicle have a better chance of hiding their fucking kit in the back, doing whatever the fuck they can, but do not try to leave Ukraine on foot if you're a volunteer. It's a mess, and it's a trap, and I have multiple people who can confirm this story for me. I'm getting...
But volunteerism. Do you volunteer yourself as tribute to become cannon fodder? Now, what's the truth? Are people going over there and volunteering and then becoming war heroes? Like, I'm sure they probably have in their mind. I mean, it would be exciting to think that, but a lot of times people are a little more delusional in their heads than what reality can actually bring. And it seemed like the volunteer that we seen, if that guy actually was a volunteer for the Ukrainian army. Now, we know that people can claim anything and everything on the internet. But if any of this is if any of these people are real, if any of this is legitimate, it's probably a better idea to prepare yourself at home, get everything as ready at home, as in saving your money, being disciplined with your time, getting yourself into shape, getting your family into shape, having good relationships with your peer groups, with your family, with your friend, with everyone around you, with your work associates, with everything. All of these different things are things that we need to be working on to making ourselves better. But volunteering to go fight over for another country to not even defend us, I mean, I know that the news is pushing out it's for defense, but we're not even technically in this war at all. Not yet, anyway. Hopefully we won't be. Hopefully we won't be conscripted in and all these other things, and hopefully it doesn't turn into a mess. I just hate seeing it like that guy who left his wife and kid to go fight for Ukraine. Now he gets killed over there. I mean, they're volunteers, so they're not... Are they getting paid? Are they going to pay them anything? Or is it... How does that even work? I mean, you're getting some MREs, seems like a mess, man. Seems like a mess. But the whole volunteering thing, it's just weird because I'm seeing it pushed as a positive thing on all these different news sources. And then we get one video that obviously isn't going to be pushed out anywhere. They're not going to push that anywhere if it's legitimate. There's a possibility that was bullshit and he wasn't telling the truth. Seemed pretty legit though. Seemed pretty legit.